Hi, so let's talk governance today. So if you are an admin managing the Power Platform in your organization, well, probably you are already thinking about how to handle orphan apps and flows. So in today's video, we're going to see how to detect them using the CoE Starter Kit and what options do we have to handle them. We'll see the out-of-the-box process that comes with the governance components in the CoE Starter Kit, and we'll see why that is not probably the best answer for your organization. So before moving forward, let's wait a moment and define the difference between abandoned and orphan resources. Abandoned is basically that the resource has not been actively used in a prolonged period. For example, SharePoint sites that have not been used in 180 days, or licenses. Typical case, project license, project premium license that is not being used after acquisition, and then you want to do some cleanup to save up some money. Well, that's abandoned resources, and we should handle that accordingly. But then the orphan resources are the ones where the owner has left the organization. So I had in this case, a flow or a Canvas app, and then I leave the organization. What happens? Because the flow will stop working, and the Canvas app, well, nobody will be able to share it again or edit it. Right. So let's see how to detect abandoned or orphan resources in the Power Platform, and for that we can use the Power Platform admin view, this application that comes with the CoE Starter Kit, the core components. And this is the main application that you will be using as an administrator of the Power Platform in your organization. And here you have to basically take care of the apps and flows that are orphaned. And very conveniently, we have for each of those a view. In this case, if we see here orphan Canvas apps, and only Canvas apps can be orphaned, so not SharePoint custom forms, not model-driven apps, not custom pages, because those are created from a solution, and that's a different way of working. And for flows, we have the abandoned flows. Well, I have one, and the orphan ones, orphan flows as well. And these are different views that are leveraging the actual entities inside the Center of Excellence Starter Kit. Now, if we go back to slides, basically orphan flows, orphan canvas apps, this is how we can detect them using the features in the CoE Starter Kit. This is the configuration of the view. And for abandoned flows, we can have, for Power Automate flows, we can have both abandoned or orphan resources. So summary, how can we detect them using the CoE Starter Kit and using the out-of-the-box views? There's nothing fancy here. Now that's great, we know how to detect them, but then what do we do with those? Well, if we go back to the slides, there's actually an out-of-the-box process that tries to solve the problem inside the Center of Excellence Starter Kit, and it's in the governance component. So we go to the solutions, there is this governance component. Wait a second, let me close this. So in the governance components from the Center of Excellence Starter Kit, there is this bunch of flows, this solution that actually allows you to handle this with an approvals-based solution. If we take a look at the workflow, basically here, so it runs every week, and what we do is check if the users, the makers that we have in the Center of Excellence, they are orphaned or not, and if they are orphaned, then we go this route, and what we do is get all apps, Canvas apps and flows assigned to that maker, and contact the manager and ask the manager for each of those resources, what do you want to do? Do you want to give them, assign the ownership to another person, or delete them? And that's what this workflow does. And here you have actually open here. This is the video where they demo the solution, right? You can see here where they explain how it works, the different canvas, well, the pages that they have developed for that, and you see here the approvals based answers where you see the cards that are displayed to solve the issue. So while the solution that comes with the Center of Excellence Start Kit, it's a great starting point, it probably doesn't fit your organization's needs, and the reason lies here, and it's by design, in how they approach the communication with the manager, which is via approvals. And let me show you why this can be a problem. Well, First, I actually have a video in my channel talking in depth about this topic that we're going to see in a moment. So in case you want to see a very thorough technical explanation, very thorough, 20 minutes almost, well, here's a great video to do that. Now, the reason is here. If you go to the Port-Buffon Admin Center and take notice here, the security group, well, in my case, there's no security group assigned, but probably you are protecting your Center of Excellence Starter Kit installation, your environment with a security group here. And what I'm showing you in the video from my channel is that you can only send approvals to users inside this security group. So if you don't have a security group, just like what happens in the default environment, no problem, because all the organization can be reached because there is no security group filtering the users in the environment. But the moment you have one security group protecting the environment, then you can only shoot approvals against the people inside that security group. So as a result, this approach probably doesn't fit your organization's needs. Now, how can we handle then? Well, I propose here a different approach. And the implementation, if you want to see the actual implementation, let me know in the comments, because I'm in the process of making a video, and maybe, well, I put more priority on it if I have enough people asking for it. So basically, let's take a look at the process, and it's a slightly changed, nothing really, because the approach is correct. The design is a little bit, I believe, in the wrong direction because of the approvals constraint, but the approach is more or less the same. What we want to do is detect first the abandoned apps and flows, then send a notification to the original maker's manager, because he's the only person we can reach to, right? And for each of the components, what we want to do is decide whether delete. So if we want to delete that component, then delete it using the management, the port apps and port domain management connectors. And if not, then ask for a business reason why, then ask and assign ownership to a new owner of the resource. And if we don't have, this is what they don't cover in the original out-of-the-box processes, what happens when you don't have a response, because you and I know that not everyone answers these kind of emails. Just like when you want to control the lifecycle of sites and team sites and licenses, etc. So here what I propose is, as you probably already know, follow a 3-strike policy, meaning that, well, I will reach out to you 3 times. Maybe 7 days is not very generous. Maybe we can put 20 days, 14 days, whatever. It's depending on your organizational culture. But in the end, we should follow a 3-strike policy, because if you don't answer after 3 attempts, well, I'm going to delete the resource, because we have something to comply with, which is our Power Platform Governance Framework, where we state in our policies, in our procedures, that we cannot have orphan or abandoned flows. And if you don't respond, well, that's that. So to wrap up, we've seen what are orphaned and abandoned apps and flows, how to detect them using the CoE Starter Kit, and the solution that we can apply from the CoE Starter Kit, its flaws, and how to solve that and why. Well, that's that. Let me know in the comments if you want to learn more about these kind of topics, and if you have any special inquiry, I will be gladly responding those comments and shooting videos accordingly, because, well, I don't have such a big pipeline ahead, but I do have several topics I want to talk about, but I will take in, your considerations into account. And well, with that, thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next one, and have a great one. Bye.